Thank you for joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective for this Friday morning. We're glad to have you join us today. I want to start by my introduction. I'm Robert Theobald, the Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services at the Arizona Commerce Authority. To start off, we want to first thank our community partners. The bootcamp could not be successful without them, without their support, and without the content they're providing. The Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective is designed to help small businesses return from the COVID crisis stronger than ever. It's a statewide initiative supported by the community partners throughout the state. And it's a daily boot camp that we are running through July, as well as a resource collective. So on our website, we've been doing webinars Monday through Friday, and on our website, you can find the recordings of all the previous webinars that we've done. And we started in May, beginning of May, and have continued on through today. And we'll continue on through the end of July. And you have access to all that content and sessions through the bootcamp website. So feel free to go in and register for the upcoming sessions, or go back and watch previous sessions that you may have missed. We also have on our website the Resource Collective, and this is the additional resources, tools, and guides that have been provided by our community partners. A lot of valuable information on there for small businesses, and we keep it updated as often as we get new information to share. So next week's topics are innovative workforce solutions to return stronger, how to become a seller on the Amazon Marketplace, identifying business opportunities in dynamic market, overcoming uncertainty in your business, and how to correctly optimize your videos on social media. So some quick funding updates out there. If you haven't seen this yet, the PPP extension was signed on August 8th, and so the PPP loan program is continuing, or it was signed and is good through August 8th, excuse me. There are still a lot of funds available in the PPP program, so if you have not applied for one, and you think you may need one, please, apply. If you need a lender to reach out to contact, let us know, and we can help guide you into the lenders that are still participating in this program. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program is also active, and you can apply for that through the SBA's website. However, with that program, the advance option that was available has concluded. It concluded on July 11th as the SBA reached their funding limit for the advance program. But the loan program for the EIDL loans is still ongoing. So some other resources available for small businesses out there are small business services and at the ACA, and we can help navigate the SBA, help you identify contacts at the small business development centers throughout the state, provide the latest updates and developments. We have our workforce division that can help employers, whether they're hiring or looking for training opportunities, can help support employers in those aspects. And then our Arizona MUP can provide all things for manufacturers looking to grow and expand their businesses in Arizona. So just a reminder that the state has put together the ArizonaTogether.org website for all things COVID-19 for information and resources. And on our resource collective, we have a big list of guides that are available to you depending on the type of business you have, the type of industry, to help you navigate the COVID crisis and open and return stronger. You can find those guides through our main ACA COVID-19 website, the Arizona Business Resources website here. And this is constantly updated with the new and changing business resources for the businesses in Arizona during the COVID crisis. So today's speaker, we're excited to have Taylor Wellman with us, the co-owner of Financial Potion. And we've got a great presentation on videos for us today and how to use those to help your business. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and turn the time over to Taylor.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Everyone's going to be learning a lot, and really you're going to be learning how to produce your own marketing videos. And if you're kind of on the fence about, do I really need to do videos? Well, here are 3 statistics to keep in mind as I'm telling you what type of videos you should be doing and how to do them to stay motivated to actually produce your videos. The first statistic is that when you post a video versus just text or images on social media, you're going to have a 1,200%, I'm not stuttering, I'm not wrong with that percentage, a 1,200% increase in shares. And that's with text and images combined. And so if you're going to be spending the time to market online, you should leverage your time wisely and utilize video marketing. So that way you have a 1,200% better chance of being shared. Also, did you know that 64% of consumers will make a purchase after watching a branded video? And so imagine if you can just share your content in a video form of what your service or what your product does, 64% of consumers after watching that video are going to be more motivated. And that's probably because 60% of the information given in a video is actually retained, comparative to only 20% when read and 30% when heard. And so that's why video is so powerful. And the last statistic that I want you to remember as you're learning to stay motivated to do your own videos is that when you put videos on your social websites, your social media sites, or your website, you're going to increase your organic traffic by 157%. And organic means you didn't pay an extra penny for search results. By just placing a video on your website, you're increasing that organic traffic by 157%. And so if those few statistics do not motivate you to do videos, well then, I don't know what will. So let's learn how to produce your own marketing videos. What you're going to learn today, you're going to learn the 3 types of videos you need to produce. Yes, there are going to be other types of videos. However, I don't want to overwhelm people. So let's talk about the first 3 types of videos that you should be focusing on in order to enhance your marketing. We're going to be discussing the basic equipment as well as production tips. Yes, I am a full-service video marketing company. However, we do understand that for us to go out and do videos may not work in every environment as well as for every budget. And so it's extremely important that you do something, that you have some video. And once you create a video, it doesn't mean you can't go back and enhance it. You can always enhance the quality and do an update with your videos, just like your website. You don't ever create a website and go, boop, it's done, I'm good to go. No, you always got to look at it and upgrade. And so this is going to give you the tools in order to get started. And then eventually, perhaps we can all work together in creating a higher produced video. But with this information, you will look professional. It will look good. And so you will have the power to create your own marketing videos. All right, so let's do it. Number 1 is introductions. Yes, this looks like it's just a business card that's on there. However, this is an end graphic for someone's introduction video. As you can see, it has their name. It has their contact information. It is practically their business card because that introduction video is your virtual business card. So let's talk about some of the scripting items involved in your introduction video. And I do say introduction videos because you can do more than one, which I'll explain here in a moment. These are the questions that you want to answer. And really the key is that you want to try to answer these questions using only one sentence. By doing that, you're going to have a video that will be between 60 to 90 seconds long. And that really is the average retention span and attention span. And so you want to make sure that you're providing all your content in that average attention span, so that way people don't drop off, you don't lose them. And so it's always better to think about, how can I make my videos shorter and do more of them than providing a 5-minute video. I don't know how many times I hear, oh, I want to do a short video, like 5 minutes. That is long. You want to stay around the 1-minute mark. Think about social platforms like Instagram, for example. They will only have videos play that are 1 minute or less. And so 1 minute on average is 150 words. Obviously, it's an average. It's going to change dependent upon your speed of speech. Personally, I have been working really, really hard the last 10 years to slow down my speech. I'm originally from the East Coast, and we tend to talk very fast. And so for myself, it's been hard to actually come down to that 150 word level. But I do encourage, if you are a fast talker, try to slow it down a little bit, because the average person does need that little bit more time to process what you're saying and to truly hear what you're saying. And so here are the questions that you need to try to answer in one sentence. What problem does your offering solve? That really is the number one question. What problem does your offering solve? Because when people are searching to hire someone or searching to purchase a product, they have a problem that they want solved. And so you need to put that right there in the front. Then you can share really, who are you, and what is your business name? Who is your target audience? Once again, this is an introduction video. This could be the first impression that many people have of you. And in order to save everyone's time, you want to go ahead and share, who is your target audience? Who would be a good fit to work with? Because even though many entrepreneurs and business owners might say, everybody, because you want to make money from everybody, that's truly not the right answer. So really think, who has been your best customers and clients, and who can you really help the most, or who do you enjoy working with the most? And then how are you different from your competition, or what makes you unique? I'm not saying that you should call out and say that you are better than so-and-so down the street. No, I'm saying point out what really makes you different, what makes you unique. Many people are in industries that have competition, and really you should be having competition. And so you want to share what makes you different from them. It could be price, it could be experience, it could be a part of your processes. Think about what that is. And if you don't know what makes you different from your competition, that sounds to me that you need to do some research. It's really good to just kind of inquire what your product or service would cost from your competitors. Do a little bit of competitor research. That's totally fine. And then what resistance or objections will people have to you? So many times people will, just have objections. Oh, I'm so sorry. I jumped the gun there. So many times people will have objections, and you're going to hear that during your first meeting together. And so during this introduction video, like I said, is going to be a first impression many times. Go ahead and explain what those resistance or objections could be. Many times it's price. And so explain that, yes, many people feel that the price may seem high. However, explain why it isn't high, or explain the value that people are going to get. So then that way, when you do have that actual face-to-face or virtual face-to-face sales meeting, that they're not going to have that resistance or objection anymore, because you already shot that down with your introduction video. And then lastly, when, where, and how do you want people to take action? This is your call to action. And whether it's an introduction video or a different video that we're going to be talking about, or any video that you produce, you always need to make sure that you have a call to action. There's no point in just getting people motivated and then not knowing what to do. And so always share when, where, and how you want people to take action, and be honest. There's some people who hate getting text messages. So don't provide your cell phone. Don't say to text me. On the flip side, if you do prefer to have text, say it. Say, text me on this number. And then a bonus is to add a testimonial. If you can insert a testimonial or a review in your introduction video, that's great, because then you're going to get that third-party validation in that introduction first impression video. I apologize for my cat who might want to try to join our call here. And so the reason why it's introduction videos is because this is just one video. What you can also do is do an introduction video that really talks about you as a person. Who are you? What is it that you do? You saw there for a quick moment that I have a cat. I could do a whole video just about me for my about page that really talks about myself and my hobbies, that I have cats, I have chickens, I have a garden. And what that does is anyone who has a similar interest already has an extra bit of trust with me. Because at the end of the day, people want to do business with people they know, like, trust, and would want to associate with. And many times we like to associate with people who have similar interests. And so what are some of those things that make not just your business, but you unique, that you can put in other little introductory videos to get people to know you even more? So you already saw it. Normally I try to make people kind of guess what the next type of video is, but everyone here already knows. That is reviews. You want to get reviews. Word of mouth is the oldest form of marketing. However, it's still the most valuable. There would not be sites like Yelp if people did not care what other people's experiences were. And so you always want to make sure that you are capturing reviews and testimonials. And you're going to see a little bit of a theme here that they all seem to be screenshots from real estate. That's because I do a lot of real estate training, because that is an industry where really the only thing that makes them unique is themselves. They offer the same homes. They offer, they do basically the same thing. The only thing that's unique is them. So that's why you're going to see a lot of examples and clips here for real estate. And as you can see here, there's closed captions right on there. She opened a portal for me. She encouraged me to look at all these different types of houses to determine what I wanted when I went to buy my house. And so instantly, even from the screenshot, you can see that it is a review and that, they were able to buy a house. Once again, let's talk about the scripting. Now, when you're getting a review or a testimonial, if you're in front of your client and they're just raving about you, you need to be able to go, oh, wait a second, pause. Can I please capture this on a video? Because what you're saying is so great, and I'm sure a lot of other people would want to hear that as well. And so if someone is truly naturally just sharing their review with you, ask if you can capture it on camera. However, I'm sure there's many people who are on this call right now that are going, oh darn, there are so many people I worked with in the last year or two that would be such a great review that I would love to capture on camera. You could totally go back to them and then just have them answer these few questions. And the key is, unless you're going to have it be like an interview where you're on camera with them, you're going to want to ask these questions and then have them restate the question within the answer, so that way you can eliminate your voice in the editing and then just have a beautiful scripted video of just their story. And so what is their name and who are they? I work with a lot of business owners, and so a lot of times I will want them to say, who are they and what is their business? Not only does it give it a little bit of context of the type of industry we are working with, it also allows that person to toot their own horn a little bit and be able to share about their organization. And so if you are a B2B business, think about that. Allow them to kind of share who they are, and then they're also more likely to reshare your review or testimonial video. How did you get started working together? Once again, this is a story. And so we want to really build from beginning to end what that story was. Were they referred to you? Did you get connected through a networking event? Did they find you online? Did they download your free ebook and then were motivated to do more? Have them share how they first got started. And then what was the process like? Did they feel understood? Did it feel relaxing? Was it challenging? Have them truly be honest about what the process was like. And then what were the results? Discuss if anything was tangible in detail. For example, if you're a personal trainer, were you able to help them add X number of pounds in muscle versus fat? Were you able to help them lose fat or lose inches? For real estate, we always talk about how quickly were you able to sell their home once it hit the market, or how quickly were you able to help them find a home? Think about what were those tangible results. And then have they tried a similar production, product, or service before, and how did this differ? And once again, we don't necessarily want to name bash. I personally hate all these political ads where they just name bash the other person. Tell me really, what do you do? What do you do that makes you unique and different? And so have them say, for example, if we're talking about our personal trainer, I've tried to work with a personal trainer before and I didn't feel challenged. I didn't meet the goals that I thought I was going to. However, working with Anne, I was able to reach my goals. I felt challenged, but it was the challenge that I needed. And so have them do that compare and contrast. And then lastly, and especially if they're extremely busy and maybe only have time to give you one blurb, have them answer this question. Would you recommend the same product, service, business, and why? And make sure that they say your name or your business name or your product name and the words recommend in that particular video. Just answering this one question alone will give you quality testimonials and reviews. And also keep in mind, especially this video, it can be very unscripted. It could be very amateur looking, and that's going to make it look more real. If you were thinking about, okay, what do I really need to focus more time on or more investment on? It's going to be that introduction video because it is that first impression video. However, reviews and testimonials, we don't want them to seem over-scripted, and you don't want them to seem like a super big production. You want them to be real and have people realize, okay, these are real people. They are not actors that were hired. Okay, I did say that there are 3 vital videos that you want to focus on, or types of videos you want to focus on. Of course, there are many, many more, but I would say that this one is the other one that's really going to help you with your marketing. And those are SSME videos, search and subject matter expert videos. When people are online, they are searching for answers, as I said. And so the more that you do these bite-sized 1-minute videos about your subject, that is going to help with your search, and it's going to show that you are a subject matter expert. And so the types of videos that you could be doing is, well, what's on your FAQs? Every single question that you have on your FAQ page should become a video. People like to watch videos more than read, and as I already shared, people will retain more information that's provided in a video comparative to just a written text. And so that could give you a whole library of content to work with. And then, what are you getting hand cramps repeating in emails? Or what are you feeling like a broken record constantly repeating over the phone? By putting that type of questions or those types of questions in video form, you could then send people to the resource center of your website or the FAQ center of your website, or send them a YouTube link in order to hear that answer. And then perhaps you would just be doing extra clarifications, or you may be eliminating phone calls or emails in general because that video is going to be answering those questions that you're getting those hand cramps over. Any definitions? Many times when we're in our businesses, we kind of assume that people just know what we're talking about. I know before the call got started, Robert, Lisa, and I were just talking about cameras, and Lisa made the comment, oh, you're talking a whole other language. And sometimes you don't realize that because you're so in your industry that you don't realize that people don't understand what those definitions are. For my real estate clients, something like the escrow process is, like a no-brainer for them. But for someone perhaps new to buying a home, they hear the word escrow and they have no idea what that means. And so what are some of those languages, those words that you use regularly in your industry that you can just create definition videos about, that once again is going to show that you're the subject matter expert, and it's just going to give that person who's thinking about working with you a little more confidence, and they're going to feel a little more familiar with the processes before even starting. what's seasonal and what's trending. It is good to not always just talk about your industry. Don't always just try to be educating people in a way to sell them. Talk about what's seasonally going on. Talk about what is trending. Talk about what is going on in our culture. So then that way it shows that you do have a pulse on reality. That is also important. You cannot just be selling, and educating just about your industry. You need to have a nice blend sometimes of talking about other things that are going on. And between these few bullets, you're going to have more than enough content in order to be regularly posting on all of your social media accounts and adding to your website. And once again, we want to keep them short. If you keep them about a minute or less, that's about 150 words or less, you're going to get a higher potential to be in that 1200% share rate, because people are more likely to share a video that is just 1 minute because they know it's not going to take a lot of time from people and that they're going to be able to watch these videos, to learn from them, and then, like I said, share them off. And if it seems like it's too short, let's say my real estate example again. I know a lot of people go, well, there's no way I can explain how, our processes of selling your home or buying a home in just 1 minute. Well, that's fine. What are the different chapters within buying a home? What are the different main topics? It's way better to create a series of 10 1-minute videos versus 1 10-minute video, because you'll be amazed that when you organize your videos in a series on Facebook or organize your videos in a playlist on YouTube, that you're going to have more people watch more of your videos just keeping them 1 minute. They'll see the timeline. Oh, it's only a minute. I'll watch it. The next video will come up. Oh, this one's only a minute. I'll watch it. And they'll end up watching 5 to 10 minutes without even realizing it. But when they see a timeline that says 10 minutes, unless it's something that they're really invested in, most people will not sit the 10 minutes. So think about, what are those different chapters? What are those different topics within a main topic that you can break it down to stay within that 1 minute or less? And then lastly, the reason why you really want to focus on these types of videos is for the first S, the search matter, because you want to get found organically. I'm really big about how can we get you found organically using video before spending money in Google or Facebook ads. And so you want to create these videos and you want to upload them to YouTube and across your social media. YouTube is the #2 used search engine. It is not a social media platform. It is a search engine, and it is the #2 used search engine next to Google, which is #1, and Google has owned YouTube since 2008. And so many times when you're searching on Google, YouTube videos will populate in result. Okay, so now you know what types of videos you should be doing, and really you should be writing down those various topics and perhaps even having a Google Doc where you can just add topics as they come along. I know all the time clients are asking me questions and I'll just add them to the document so that way I can do that video down the road. And so continue to add to your document of types of videos, and then once you're ready to do those videos, let's now talk about the equipment you need that won't cost you an arm and a leg. Once again, this is about how you can produce videos on your own. And so I don't want you to invest in thousands of dollars, or else it would make more sense just to hire a company to do it all for you. So first things first is you need to keep it steady. The Blair Witch Project was a movie that has been long gone. We never want to see that type of footage again. And so you want to make sure that you are keeping it steady. And throughout the rest of this course, I'm talking about really how to do videos on your own, just utilizing either your phone or your tablet that you already have. And if you have a higher quality camera, the equipment tips that I'm sharing here right now are going to apply to you too. You just might need slightly different equipment. And so you're going to want to get a tripod, and then for your cell phone or your tablet, you're going to need this little clamp. So basically it's a clamp that would hold your cell phone or your tablet, and then this little circle on the bottom, that's gonna get screwed onto your tripod plate so it's nice and tight, and then you can have a good angle. And whenever you're creating an angle, you always wanna make sure that the camera is slightly above you. Even my web camera right now, it's about 3 inches above my head. So then that way I have to look slightly up at it. It's going to make it so your neck looks nice and long. It's going to make it so you don't have any of those chin wrinkles or anything like that. And so have it so it's a little bit up, so you have to look slightly up at your camera. And there are different types of tripods. And so if you're gonna be doing talking head videos, that's this, it's just myself talking to you, well then you really just need a basic tripod that could cost, you know, $25, $40 max. If you're going to be doing more movement with your camera, perhaps you want to pan it. That's when you're going from left to right, panning a room or panning a product. Or you want to tilt. That's when you go from up and down, tilting the camera. Then you're going to want to get a tripod that's a fluid head. And that's going to be a little more expensive than your basic tripod. However, you can still get a beginner, inexpensive fluid head for about $60. For everything that I'm going to be explaining, there's always going to be a plus to it because there is always a more expensive version. Our tripods are $400 to $600, but that's because they have to hold a lot more equipment than just your cell phone or your tripod. We're using cinema cameras, 4K quality cameras. You know, we're putting rigs on them. It needs to be able to hold quite a bit more than what your cell phone or your tablet is. And so, yes, you can always spend more. However, I'm going to kind of give you what that average low end range is for a quality one. And then you would need your cell phone or tripod clamp. And so that $40 to $60, that's like about a total for a basic tripod and your cell phone or tablet clamp. And so those are separate typically. Sometimes you can find them in a package. And really all this equipment that I'm sharing on our website, we actually have an equipment tab. You can take a look at some of the equipment that we recommend on there. And so if you're planning on using your cell phone or your it shouldn't say tripod, it should say teleprompter or tablet clamp. If you're using your cell phone or your tablet, you need to have a clamp for that for your particular tripod. If you're just using your camera, they're always going to have the little hole at the bottom to be able to screw onto your tripod. Okay, so let's say we want to keep it steady, but we want to walk and talk with it. That's when you're going to want to use a gimbal. Many people will say, well, can I just use my selfie stick? No. Do not use your selfie stick if you want to have a professional looking video walking and talking. The selfie stick, it still is going to be as steady as your hand is. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a surgeon, and so I do not have the steadiest of hands. However, what a gimbal does is it's going to keep it balanced. It has a mechanism in there where it just holds that phone in balance so it looks really smooth as you're walking and talking. A low-end gimbal like the one that you see here on the screen is about $85, and then of course it could go up from there. Our gimbal system, I want to say, was about $1,200. And so think about, you know, what is your camera, and then adjust from there on the various equipment that you're going to be using. But a gimbal is really, really great for the real estate market because they're going to be doing a lot of listing videos or a lot of pre-open house videos. And so that's where they really need to walk and talk and show a facility. If you are a facility, maybe you're an assistant living home, you want to be able to show it off. And so that's where using a gimbal is going to really help you with your production. So let there be light. We need to be able to see you. That is very important. And by providing the right amount of lighting to your scene, it's gonna help you look just that much better. It's gonna help your camera see you that much more. And so there are several different types of lights here. The most popular for beginners is gonna be this first one, which is called a ring light. You can get a ring light, and many of them will actually have it where it's kind of like a tripod in itself as well, where you can put your camera or your phone right there in the middle, and it's just going to give you a nice, beautiful light right on your face. You're going to want to do this if you're doing a one-person talking head-like video, or if you're just showing one product. If you're doing an interview, you're going to need more than just one light. We use what's here in the middle. They're LED temperature adjustable lights. We'll tend to use 3 to 4 per set. So then that way we can have a nice even lighting all around. We can have a hair light, so then that way there's nice separation from the background. That's typically what we use, but it's definitely more expensive. And then we also have here what is an on-the-go light. If you're someone who's gonna maybe be doing videos in their car, or maybe you are using the gimbal like we saw before, you can then attach this light to your rig in order to have more of an on-the-go lighting. And these LED lights are actually pretty powerful. They typically have about 3 settings, so then that way you can make it as bright as you need it. Typically the second setting works for most situations, but if you're in the dark, you'll need that 3rd setting. If you're outside, the sun is a beautiful light, but it can get rather harsh. And so by utilizing a reflector, like here on the right-hand side, you can utilize it to create shade for yourself if you need to even it out and provide a little more shade, or you can also use it to bounce more light. Doing videos at noon or 1 o'clock is great because that sun is high in the sky, you're having minimal shadows, but many times you're gonna get a shadow underneath your chin, under your nose, just like when you're in an office, because all you have is just downward light, and that doesn't look attractive. And so if you're outside, you can utilize a reflector to just reflect a little bit of light underneath your face to make it more even. That's really the key, is that not only do we want to see you, we want to have as even as light as possible, so we just don't have those awkward shadows, and it's just going to make you look younger and have an overall better image. And so there's a large range in terms of lighting, and just what's on the screen, you're looking from $20 to about $400, and our lighting system, I want to say, was closer to $4,000 or so, if I remember. It's been a couple of years. And so basically this little LED light for your phone, that's going to be in that $20 range. This ring light right here is about to be, about $100. The reflector, you're looking at about, $40 to $60, if I recall. And then the LED lights, that's really where you get in that higher range, because many times they come in packs of 3 or so. And then we need to hear you. So we have our camera, we have our lighting. It's also very, very important that we hear you. And so these are the 2, main types of audio devices that you're gonna see. This one on the right here is called a shotgun mic. And that's typically what's gonna be plugged into your camera, or it's gonna stay on your camera or stay on your phone rig. They're very simple to use, but the problem is that they're going to be further away from you, and it's a higher potential of capturing other noise. I always say utilize a lapel mic if you can. I'm currently wearing a lapel mic for even this recording. And this particular lapel mic, it's wireless. And we use wireless mics as well. The beauty with that is that you get a little more freedom. You can walk around. You won't be tethered to the line that you have and to the distance that you have. And many of these lapel mics, they work really well 20 feet away or more. And typically you really shouldn't be that far away when you're doing a video, even if you were walking towards the camera. And so whenever you are utilizing a lapel mic, you want to hide the wire as much as possible. As you can see, you don't see the wire here on my dress. It's underneath. You always want to try to work that wire underneath your clothes, so then that way you're hiding the wire. If you're wearing a collar, then many times we'll put the pack on the back. So this little piece is the pack, and then you would have it come up your back, and then you can just place it within your collar. Sometimes you might want to put a little tape on your back, and so the buddy system can really help you with that, just so that way that wire doesn't creep along during the production. And I didn't put the prices of that on there, my apologies. So the prices for this, once again, it can range. The microphone that I'm currently wearing, it is actually a wired mic, so it's just plugged right into the computer, and it's wired, so it's not wireless, but I figured I'm at a computer, I don't need to move around. This was honestly only like $25. And then the KimaFun here on the left-hand side, I wanna say is about $60, and then of course, it could go up from there. our wireless microphones that we use are $600. So just to get a perspective on the levels that you can go up to. But I have many clients that use this exact Kimaphone, and they love it. It works well with their phones, it works well with their tablets, it works well with their computers. Some people have even plugged them into their DSLRs. So editing, you have many options, honestly. And in terms of editing, really think about what is your comfort level with editing and how much editing do you really want to do? For many people who are just getting started, I suggest doing 30 to 60-second talking head videos that you can then simply just trim using your phone. Every phone is going to have a trim feature where you can just trim off the beginning and the end, because those are the areas really that are the choppiest, because you're pressing record, you're getting ready, and then you're saying to stop recording. And so your phone can do those basic edits. If you're on a Mac computer, an Apple computer, you can have iMovie on there for completely free. And iMovie is a really great resource to use. It has a lot of easy plugins to use, and you can be really successful just adding transitions between various clips, adding text graphics, adding background music. This little symbol right here is for Movavi. Movavi, I have found, is a really good software for new PC users. And so if you're new to editing and you have a PC in Microsoft, then you might want to look at Movavi. Unfortunately, it's not free, but it's very inexpensive. I want to say the entire suite for it is maybe $100. And once again, you'll be able to add transitions, you'll be able to add text graphics, you'll be able to add background music and do other effects. Then here, this box is showing the Adobe Creative Cloud. If you're committed to really do a lot with editing, maybe you even want to get into doing green screen videos or just do more motion graphics, then utilize the Adobe Creative Cloud. That's personally what we use. And it's a bit more of an investment though. You're looking at about $56 a month with a one-year contract. But the cool thing with that is that they're always updating. And so by having that, monthly subscription to them, you can always upgrade to the latest and greatest. And I really appreciate that, because then there's always new tools that are being incorporated into these systems. And so that would give you everything with that creative suite. You'd be able to do everything you would ever need to do with editing. Then there's also this site called Capwing. I'm actually really new to Capwing. I've used every other system that I've mentioned. However, I have not personally used Capwing yet myself, but it's an online and app resource that can help you easily take some of your photos and make them into videos and add text graphics. And so that's really cool. And it's really important. I've said text graphics a few times here. It's important that you think about adding text graphics, or think about at least incorporating closed captions into a lot of your videos, because for Facebook and LinkedIn, 80% of the users on those platforms watch videos on silent at first. Think about your own user experience. When you're on the wall, you're scrolling and you see videos autoplay. Well, if you see large text graphics or closed captions, you can kind of read along and then decide, you know what, I do want to click on that video and learn more or see more. And so it's really important that for those platforms, if you're going to be active on those platforms, that you put in large text graphics or you put in closed captions so people can read along. And so that is where we don't want to collect digital dust, and you're going to want to utilize the video marketing social media distribution roadmap in order to correctly post your videos on platforms. But we're going to be going into more detail about that during part 2. And so make sure you mark your calendars for next Friday at this time in order to learn all about the social media distribution roadmap. Once again, my name is Taylor Wellman. I'm co-owner of Financial Potion, where we provide customized video marketing solutions in the form of production, editing, social media distribution, and training. And so I would love to answer any questions that anyone may have.
All right, thank you, Taylor. That was a great presentation. If you have questions for Taylor, please enter them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We do have one from David. It says, how important are one, resolution, 4K, 1080p, frame rate, camera choice, either DSLR, mirrorless, et cetera, and how important is supplementing your video with professional audio through a product like a Rode Wireless Go?
Okay, there's a few questions within that question, but it's an amazing question and I love it. So let's first talk about, I'm actually gonna kind of go a little backwards. So let's first talk about the audio. It doesn't matter how good your video looks if we can't hear you. And so you definitely want to make sure that you are investing in some sort of audio device, some sort of microphone, something where you can have that crisp audio. For ourselves personally, we use a Zoom H6 with the Sennheiser AVX wireless microphones. With using a Zoom to record our audio, we actually record the audio using 2 different channels. And so then that way we can set one channel to be perfect and the other one we always set to be a little low. So if someone starts laughing or they get really loud out of nowhere, it's not gonna peak and ruin our audio. I don't know how many times we've gotten footage from speakers to do speaker reels where their entire audio is redlining because the AV production did not have a channel turned down a bit where we can use that channel. And so always make sure that you have quality audio. In terms of frame rate, you're gonna have to maybe remind me some of those questions in there, but in terms of frame rate in there, think about the types of video you're gonna be doing. If you're gonna be doing a talking head video where you're just educating, 30 frames per second. That's what you need to do. And then if you're gonna be doing something a little more dramatic, maybe you're trying to do a product overview, then you might wanna consider doing like a 60 frame per second because it's just gonna look more fluid. It's gonna have like a smoother feel and look to it. And then in editing, if you choose to even slow it down more, it's gonna look a lot better and a lot cleaner than if you're trying to slow down your 30 frames per second footage. I'm so sorry. What were some of those other? Oh, 1080 versus 4K. It was another question. So we personally record in 4K for the most part. Our drone is actually a 6K. And if you have the abilities to record in 4K, 6K, 8K, do it because when you're editing, you're going to have a larger opportunity to change your angle. So for example, with our 4K videos, whenever we're recording a talking head, we'll always record wider than what we think we want, because if we like the wide shot, we can keep it. However, with 4K, we can crop in about 2 times and it's not going to degrade the quality because we always will export in 1080. Unless we're delivering for a movie theater, then we always deliver in 1080 because really that's what most websites can handle. We got to think, we're doing this more so for digital marketing, and sites like Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube are primarily being watched on cell phones. And so for it to not auto degrade, you'll see that when you're watching videos on these platforms, that it's going to adjust the quality that the user is seeing based on their bandwidth. So many times people will upload a 1080 video and that's being seen at 360 just because that's what the bandwidth is of that particular user. And so you're always going to be exporting in 1080. So recording in 1080 is fine, but recording in a higher resolution is better in terms of flexibility for your editing.
Excellent.
What were there other, oh, here, I can pop up the Q&A.
Yeah.
So camera choice, you know, I just talked about half the time how you can just utilize your phone or your tablet. And, you know, many iPhones these days actually have 4K quality. And so, you know, it depends upon what type of videos you're going to be doing, how often you're really doing your videos, for how much you want to invest. You know, we are a professional company, so we use our 4K cameras all the time. And then, you know, the mirrorless versus not, full frame versus not, it really comes down to the, you know, the lenses you're going to be using and really what's that end production supposed to be. And so I wouldn't worry too much about, you know, do I need to have a mirrorless or not versus what content do you want to share? Because in terms of marketing too, it's really your content that's going to be the key. And as long as it looks good and sounds good, the end user is not going to care whether you had a mirrorless camera or not. Yes, and like I said, you definitely need to have professional audio. I almost say you know, it's not more important than looking good. It's equally as important. If you don't sound good, then no one's going to take you seriously. You're not going to look professional, and people are not going to retain the information that you're sharing, and you're probably not going to get that video shared either. And so make sure that you're sounding good while looking good.
Taylor, it's interesting on the microphones and the audio. A lot of people will probably recognize this. You've done videos on your cell phone just of friends, and all of a sudden when you go to play it back, there's tremendous wind noise.
Oh my goodness, yes. And so that's where, you know, if you're using multiple people on camera, do not just utilize one microphone unless you're using an extremely strong boom mic with an audio mixer. That's typically the only time you can get away with one microphone and multiple people. And so you might need to consider purchasing a splitter. What you could do is you could purchase a splitter where it's going to go into one audio jack, but then split out to be able to plug in more audio devices. And so, you know, if we're doing a 4-person panel, each person is having their own wireless lapel mic that's then going into our multi-channel Zoom system to actually record and monitor the audio.
Excellent.
Okay.
What questions do you guys have out there, attendees? Please post those in the Q&A. We've got a couple more minutes so we can
I see a few
leverage
questions here in the
experience.
chat. It looks like someone is asking, is there a phone app for an editor you suggested? So it depends on how much editing you want to do. And honestly, even though I might look a little young, or at least I hope I look young, I personally love using my computer. It's just a larger screen. Typically, there's more tools that you have access to when doing editing on or doing anything, even optimization that we'll talk about next week. You're going to be able to do a lot more on a computer. However, if you kind of are on the go and need to do something on your phone, you know, a lot of times your phone, just within the video, you can trim it. So you can just trim edit right just from your camera app. And then if you have an iPhone, you can get iMovie on your iPhone. And so you can utilize the full iMovie suite right there on your phone. Let's see here. Can you look at a website and make recommendations to improve? Most definitely. Anyone who has a website, please email me your site. I could definitely look at it and let you even know placement-wise where you should be placing videos in order to help your search engine optimization. In addition to that, if you have a YouTube channel, we do provide complimentary YouTube audits, which will highlight what you're doing really well, as well as areas that you might want to focus on in order to enhance your search engine optimization. YouTube is one of those platforms that are really picky about you using all their tools. And if you don't use all their tools, they are not going to populate your video that high in the search rankings. So let's see. So starting off, what equipment do you recommend if you are doing talking head informational videos? Okay, so a talking head informational video, at a bare minimum, you're going to need to use a tripod. So you can use just a basic tripod that's about $25. You're gonna need, if you're using your phone or a tablet, you're gonna need a clamp. And so that clamp, you're looking at about $15. Then you're gonna need to have some sort of microphone. Yes, I'm aware that all phones have a microphone attached to them. However, they're omnidirectional. And what that means is that if a dog's barking out your window, or if your kids are in the background, or even if it's just really windy, it's gonna capture all that. And oh, back to that windy comment. For your lapel mics, you're gonna have what's called a windscreen that you can put on top of it. That's kind of like that fuzzy thing that you see on top of microphones sometimes. That really helps reduce the noise with wind. And then lastly, you're gonna have some sort of lighting. The lighting that I actually have right now, it's just my lamp. So I have a lamp that has like multiple arms that come out, so I can actually place it in a perfect position to give me even lighting. However, most people will just utilize the ring light. And so if you were gonna do that, you could honestly just get away with the ring light and then an audio, and that's it, because the ring lights do actually have a clamp to be able to hold your cell phone. Okay, other questions?
There's one in the chat that says, Just asking if a cell phone or a tablet will sufficiently work for startup videos.
For startup videos, if and only if you have something that can hold that phone steady, and if you have lighting, and if you have some sort of audio device to have a more crisp audio, then yes, you could totally use a cell phone or a tablet for startup videos. And as I said in the beginning, just because you produce a video on your own doesn't mean that it's done and that you shouldn't enhance it down the road. Once you have money in your budget, things like your introduction video should be of high quality because it's going to be that first impression that many people have of you. And so that's the video that you would want to invest in the most and have the highest quality look. Those SSME videos totally can be done on your own because those are things that we want to just show that you are that subject matter expert. Now, it is sometimes easier to get a professional to do it. We have a teleprompter, so people don't need to memorize anything. Many times people can get done a lot more videos just coming to a studio and getting it done versus finding time to do it on their own. But it's just what makes sense for you and your budget right now. And so it's better just to do videos on your own with just a little bit of an equipment investment than just wait to do videos. You don't want to sit. Right now, more than ever, you need to show that you are active, that you're out there, that you have solutions, and doing video is going to be the best way for you. And for those people with those busy schedules going, when in the world am I going to produce videos? Use your calendar. Make it real and write it down. I always say that it's not real unless it's written down. And so go ahead, put in your calendar a pre-production day. That pre-production day is going to be going through your FAQs, going through your emails, and making that list of different topics. And then work on your scripting. Even if you don't have a teleprompter, you're going to benefit tremendously by scripting your videos because it's going to get your mind organized on what are the different topics I want to hit, so that way you don't ramble on. And next week, we'll even talk about how when you write those scripts, it's going to even help you with your social media optimization. And then go ahead in your calendar and plan a production day. Just put it in the calendar, plan those few hours. And I always say when you're doing videos, try to record at least 5 videos at a time. So that way, if you're posting videos once a week, you have a little over a month of content to share. And then within that month, you can plan another production day, record another 5 videos. You have, once again, a little over a month of content to work with. And posting at least once a week is a bare minimum. You want to post at least once a week. If you want to be a super rock star, do daily, as long as it's good content. So between daily to at least once a week. But even if once a week sounds like a pressure to you, start with something. Start with once a month.
All righty, we are wrapping up on time. There was another question about sharing an intro video. Maybe we can share one next week if there's time on next week's presentation.
Yeah, or people can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Financial Potion. We have playlists organized between introduction videos, tip videos, testimonial videos, the whole gamut, and even additional free information to do videos on your own. We post videos every Friday at 5 p.m. telling people about equipment or tips, whatever it might be.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Taylor, we appreciate the time. That was a great wrap up that you did right there. So again, great information. We're going to have part 2 next week, so we're excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate everybody being on here today, and we look forward to having everybody on next week's boot camp. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you all.